Otter's recording at least he recorded so far what we've got.
Mm-hmm.
So I really love this, the visual. And then the next one is the auditory, because then you start talking on a phone.
Mm.
And then when you meet is the kinesthetic.
Yeah. Oh, this is good.
You rock, mate.
You rule, ruler.
Yeah. So that's something we can explain.
Mm.
You know, how you know, really the first thing, because even if you're a kinesthetic and an auditory person, you're still looking at someone. You're not hearing someone, you're looking at someone.
Yeah.
So whether we like it or not, the first thing is the visual. So it's important that you have good photos and you present yourself
Mm-hmm.
who you are. Because if you want to have a professional man and you turn up with your boobs hanging out, I'm not really sure if that is quality. They might go for you because of your boobs, but is that why you want them to be with you? And a guy turns up with his beer, his dog, and his mates.
Mm.
What kind of woman are you actually looking for? So you got to have clarity on what you are looking for. So that's whether that's probably in the mastermind, is to get clarity on what do they want, and they can actually write a list of their ideal person, what they look like, how they behave, who they are, what are they like with their families, and how do they treat you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably the mastermind bit, but it has to be the seed's got to be dropped in the webinar.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the visual, auditory, kinesthetic. Now, I'm not writing much on this today because you're writing a fair bit.
Yep.
Yeah. So that is awesome. The visual, auditory, kinesthetic. That's really great.
Cool. Now, while what I wanted to do quickly was loop back and just tighten up this funnel bit, and then we can forget about it.
Yeah.
So
okay.
the first column is basically we need to get them to register. So how are they going to register? Okay. I would like them to subscribe to something. So whether they subscribe to Annie's relationship, or like we want to get them into our database at least.
Okay. Well, I have Kartra, right? Which is Kartra is like give me a moment.
MailChimp.
Well, it's a marketing program.
Right. It's like the one that Blair uses.
Infusionsoft.
Yeah.
Well, what's the other one? That guy.
Salesforce.
No. The ClickFunnels.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes. So it's a program. It's a marketing program. And
I understand.
And that's where I create. I create the marketing and then click here, and then they click and then they registered.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then they register into my database. So the thing is that they would register in my database. So we really need to figure this one out for the two of us.
I want to drive it into yours, okay? Because you're the relationship coach. So I'd rather you capture it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, because there has to be a whole new group, separate group, because this is about dating. Dating. Well, I'm talking to Mindy tonight, so I'm gonna tell her what we're doing and what does she think, because she's using Kartra for the women leading into the future, and we're using her Kartra. So clearly she has a whole list just for those followers. So it's possible. It's just, I just want to make sure that we because it's in my katra, but I don't want you to miss out.
No, that's okay. We'll talk about that later. This is about catching the fish and getting them in the freezer. We don't have to say, just, I want half in my freezer right now. That's not important.
But I just don't know whether they need to, because if they subscribe to something, then we need to create content.
Not yet. It might just be, rather than subscribe, it might just be by attending this webinar or by registering for this webinar, you agree to receive periodic marketing from us, right? Doesn't mean we have to start sending it straight away. Some people don't even do that. They might hide that in the terms and conditions. You know, by attending this webinar or by registering for this webinar, you agree to receive marketing material from us. So all I'm trying to do is make sure that we've got them in a list.
Okay, so the thing is it's not call it marketing material, because I call it something. There's something else that means I just need to find it. But when they register, they will be they will have the like they're gonna get more information relating to this subject. So, but the thing is, it's like in the when we do the registration, when they receive, so the way mine works is that you've got the front thing. So you want to learn how to stop people from swiping left. It's a free webinar. You're gonna learn click here. They click here, then they go to the sign up sheet. They fill that in. When they fill that in, they get a thank you email. And in the thank you email, you say you give them the Zoom number, and then at the bottom, you put that thing there. So by agreeing to this webinar, then you go into our database to receive further information. She worded it really well, so I've got it somewhere, but it's really good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need a mechanism for them to register. We need a mechanism for them to attend. So that's basically whether it's Zoom or WebEx or I don't care. We need that determined. And remember that if it's a free account, it gets cut off after 45 to 60 minutes.
Oh, I've got an account with Zoom, so I'm fine.
Cool.
Do you?
Right. We'll use yours, baby. And then the last part of the funnel, and now I'm talking program funnel, not marketing funnel. The program funnel is get them into the free webinar and then get them into a mastermind.
Yeah, so we have to create the next step. So it has the link. So when they say, okay, click here, that means that I got to connect to a, which I haven't done yet. I have to connect to a facility that takes credit cards. So it's either Stripe or PayPal. I mean, I have PayPal at the moment, but I need to set up PayPal in a way that they take the fees, because I don't want to pay for the fees. Right? So, so I do have PayPal, but I need to set up, they get the fees. Right? And then we got to create the offer. So then they can click on the offer.
That's right. And the offer might be, we don't need to come up with that now, but it might be limited, have some kind of urgency, or limited, like we're only taking 12 people because of the intimate nature of what we do, and the one-on-one or the one-on-6 work. So there's a, and this is all stuff that Harv teaches us, right? You've got to have some kind of a incentive, a limiter to take action.
Yeah. The other thing is what I thought about is, like at MMIs and all of those, there were those that bought it, but then there were those that filled in an interest form.
Mm.
So if we only take 12 people, because then and more people want it, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
there's got to be a place where they can sign up. Unless,
Yes, and
because
yes, you're right, and I've seen them do that where they
that's
they
that.
say, yeah,
Because if people are paying for the mastermind, they want to be in the mastermind. So I'm not sure how this works. So something we need to think about. But even if we decide we're only going to do 12 people, then we tell them what the next intake is. The following week you're part of the next intake or whatever.
yeah, that's right. You can either have a backup list, like a waiting list, or you can say, well, we've got 2 webinars coming up. Maybe don't tell them until you fill it.
Mm.
Otherwise, they're going to go, oh, I can't decide which one I want. I have to talk to Roger and see if he can look after the kids while I do this webinar. So I'll get back to you, and they don't.
No, when they say I'll get back to you, they don't.
Mm.
Or they get back to you and they say no.
That's right.
Roger said no. Well, by the way, Roger is actually, there's no Roger because they're single.
Yes, but Roger's looking after the kids. Maybe Roger's got the kids that night.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So that we can think about that. And then from the mastermind, then it goes to the one-to-one. But that's something that we can think about later. Because the first thing we need to do is get them into this one and then sell the mastermind. And then do the mastermind. And once we prepare for the mastermind, then we go to the one-to-one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. So that's the left side. The right side is design. Why can't I see?
Program. Design the program.
Yeah, that's better. Design program, content.
Define the problem and the solution.
Yeah.
What you're going to learn and what's so good about that.
Yeah. Okay. So the problem is that so what are the problems?
They're not getting dates or they're not getting swipes. There might be a couple of spots that people are getting caught at.
No swipes. Too many conversations.
Too much talking, not enough action.
Yeah. Too much talking. Okay. Is judgment one of them?
Well, that would be part of the reason why they're not getting swipes or dates.
Just let's write the word in there, judgment, just for the hell of it. I
had the girl I was talking to last night, she touched on insecurities a couple of times.
I was just going to say self-belief, self-concept.
Yeah.
So self-concept, put their insecurities. Their reference point is their last broken relationship.
Yes, and this came up last night as well. So that's a little voice playing on last relationship or last date.
Little voice. And as of late I've been when I've been talking to people, and even I think I did some, people asked me to speak in their group or whatever, and one of somebody mentioned something about being hurt or broken this or whatever, and I said, consider this, but you breaking up with that person is a blessing. And they went, what? I said, yes, because that person was sent to you to teach you something. But that's the thing that we miss, is that the relationships that we have in our life, be intimate or parents or kids or friends or whatever it is, it's there for you to figure out what is it that you want in your life. It's not what they want, it's what you want. So they are a blessing if you can transfer that into gratitude and look at, this person is here to teach me something, right? Okay, what is this person here to teach me? And then you're responsible. This is where responsibility is a big key thing to talk about. So that's I would say that's the mastermind bit.
Yeah.
And put gratitude in there too. And they kind of went, never thought about it that way. Right? So every heartbreak is actually is a healer for your heart. You think it's broken, but it's not. If you really think about it and do the work, it's healing you and making you whole and complete.
Yeah.
And then, therefore, when you know who you are and what you want, that's what you are going to attract into your world. And whether you guys like this woo, 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 you know, of, oh yeah, attract spirits, all that, but it works. It actually works. So, yeah. So the reference point, that's a good one. What else?
So we've got judgment, self-concept, insecurities. We're defining the problem here, don't forget. Little voice playing on the last relationship, the last date they had, or not learning from their experiences, not learning from what went wrong.
Yeah, not learning.
And not invested in the chat. So I've been on some chats, like last night's was in flow, and there was presence. I really like this girl, just connected with her based on our conversation. She's very funny. But you can't do that in between other things, because you're not present, and you're not really listening and responding. So I think we need to bring it to people's attention that maybe they're not really making time, present, focused, exclusive time for these connection building chats.
Wow, this is powerful, Dan. Very. Because this is, you know, like, did you see Simon Bowen is doing a webinar tomorrow morning between 9 and 10, which is your 8:30 and 9:30. And he was talking about the iceberg, how the top of the iceberg, it's what you see, it's what's on the surface, but then there's another 2 levels underneath.
Mm-hmm.
What we are doing is we're doing the levels underneath. And I think the model that we could use is the iceberg. Yeah.
Right.
I'm just writing it down. Model. Surface. Depth. Because what we're going into is the depth of a human being and the depth of what they need to go to give time and to be in service. And this is where they're all in ego. Oh, I want somebody. Yeah, but the other person wants somebody too. So find out what is it that they want, and can you give it to them?
Yes.
Is it in line? Is it in line with your values? Is this other person in line with your values? Do they want the same thing that you want? How many of you know what your values are? How many of you know what values are? Right? So then that's where you get some participation, and that's when you can seed the mastermind. So we can do a comprehensive values exercise where you will really know what are your fundamental principles. Because this is why people, this is a problem, is why people don't gel, because they don't know what is important to them, and then they give all that up for another. And then they get upset and resentful, vicious merry-go-round, and they just put their hands up in there, let's break up, and there's the heartbreak. When you actually really got attracted to this person for some reason, but you need to understand your reason, right?
Yep. It's almost like a part of the marketing can be, because the thing that popped in my head that was when they throw their hands in the air and they go, this shit doesn't work. So it's like, so you find out for you why this shit doesn't work. That's all in there. Man, it's cold up here. Fuck.
Go get a jacket.
I don't. This is it. This is me.
It's cold. Where are you?
Clare Valley, which is 2 hours out of Adelaide in wine country.
What are you doing there?
I'm visiting my dad and his wife up here because the car was next door to their house that I bought.
Ah, okay. All right. I actually like this shit doesn't work. And we don't have to say the word shit. We can have the, but I think it'd be really great to do a video and go.
Yeah.
And sit there and going,
Yeah.
And then go, right. Left.
You got mail.
Left. Is this you? Right?
Are you swiping or being swiped?
Oh, I like that one. Are you swiping or being swiped? I like that too.
One thing about authenticity we need to keep in mind is if I'm not saying we will, but if we train people to scrub up, brush up, dress better, get better looking photos, are we teaching them to be inauthentic?
No, I don't think so.
Because it's a little bit like when you write a resume if you're a professional resume writer, you're helping someone get their foot in the door, but you might be misrepresenting them.
But you know what? We can teach them to become the best version of themselves.
Yes, by digging more into just the vanity of a good photo, but also the better profile, the self-belief, the more confidence in their. Because some people might panic for the first date and go, oh my God, it's going to happen again. They're not going to like me. They're going to look me up and down and leave. I saw a pretty cool meme or an ad. I saw a poster for a restaurant and the poster said, yes, we have Tinder exits, which means if you don't like the person you meet, you can fuck off out the back door.
That's really good. That's really good.
Exit stays left even.
But you would hope that by the time they get to their first meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is another thing. How to deal with rejection.
Yes.
So if it doesn't work, what does that say about you?
Well, how they deal with it says something about them.
That's too deep.
Too deep compared to what?
Now, hang on. The first question is, how do you deal with it? All right. because the thing is, how do they deal with it? So what is happening when the person says no? What that's again a little voice issue.
Yeah, and on Plenty of Fish, unfortunately, you can get a notification when someone looks at your profile.
Oh, that's if you pay.
Yes. So this girl, I looked at her profile. I got a message from her saying, "Hey, I noticed that you looked at my profile, but you didn't send me a message. Am I not your type?" I thought, fuck, that's right in my face.
No, you're not.
You know, obviously, that for me. Well, I was going to say spells desperation.
But also, okay, so you know when we do feedback forms, what's the feedback form for?
To get him to improve.
So sometimes, so we speculate that it could be a desperation. But what if they actually just want to know? You looked at me, but why didn't you go? I just said, well, I looked at you and I just felt that your profile was not in line with mine. Actually, to be able to find the right response, that's another thing that people struggle with.
Good responses.
That are kind. They don't need to be nasty.
I asked Christy the other day why I don't hear from her much, and she said, now that I can practice my profession, my focus is my business, and I enjoy hanging out with you, but I don't know how much time I've got for you. And I'm like, okay, that's either genuine or that's a way of saying, I'll see you when I see you, but that's it.
We'll put it this way. She doesn't want to be with you because it doesn't matter what you do for a living. When you think of somebody and you've got that feeling, all you want to do is think about with the person. So now you can, and it's something I read because I'm reading the 5 Love Languages book, and I reached there's a section there that he talks about the in love feeling, and sometimes, and that in love feeling ends and around the 2-year mark. And what it's saying is that when you're in that in love feeling, all you do is breathe, shit, eat the person. You know, it's like you go to bed with them, they're in bed next to you, and you still think about them, right? And you wake up with them in mind, and productivity goes down because they don't care about anything else, just daydreaming about that person. So it's more like, what are you going to do after? So I'm reading, oh my God, I tell you, these birds, they're real dumb shits because they're smashing in my window all day, every day.
So you want to know what to do about it?
What?
You get a hawk or an owl and a fake one, and you hang it in front of the window, or you put it on top of the gutter and the birds won't come near it.
Oh, okay.
Because the birds are scared of predator birds.
Ah, okay. Well, that's all right. Okay. So responses is one thing that we need to look at. Okay, so rejection, responses. Because there's ways that you can say, look, thank you, but it's a no. You know, so I wish you all the very best with finding somebody that is more in line with your values. You know, so
if it's the values which is the challenge, it might be
more in line with what you're looking for. That's what I used to write.
Yeah, it's funny, like that person from Plenty of Fish, I looked at all her photos, went, she doesn't look like the kind of girl I want to be with. Now, can you say that?
That's judgmental because you haven't met her. Because you know, like sometimes you see people being with people and you go, really? Like they're not really, one or the other is not really that attractive, or or they overweight or whatever, but the way they're with each other, you just go, man, they're so in love, but really? Right? So judgment is so there's a lot of judgment on the visual, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we are all guilty of. But what I do, see, for example, the guy, the therapist, like his look, it's nothing like what I would go for, like nothing, right? But I looked at his photos and I was laughing. I saw his character through his photos. He had this photo with a skeleton going, right? And I went, oh, he's a nutter, right? And also he's comfortable, because who would put a photo like that up? But then there was photos with him in a suit, and I went, oh, hello. And then there was one of him chopping wood. Hello, right? But I look at his face, I'm going, nah. And then when I heard his voice, I mean, fair dinkum Aussie, you know, the mate, you know, and I'm like, it's just so not up my alley, right? But when we were communicating, it was fabulous. So there was something about him. And what I started to do when I started to look at people, I was looking at their eyes. And you can actually really see. So if you become really present to the picture, sometimes you go, I like his eyes. I even looked at guys that were like 15 years older than me. There was just something called a debonair about them, right? And I went, so not my type, but there's just something. There was a feel. So, you know, don't discount people because of their looks at times. And it's really interesting, if I look back at the photos of the men that I went out with since I became dating in my 20s, majority of the guys I went out with were very unattractive, but they had charisma, because it was their energy that connected to me. And I even look at one of the guys that I just sort of saw recently, so not at all my cup of tea. Like, you know, I like more exotic looking guys, you know. And it's really interesting. You look at Juan, he's from Brazil, but he looks nothing like some of the Brazilians. He doesn't have the black hair and the colored body and the muscles and all of that. But there was an energy, right? But you can't really feel energy, that kinesthetic energy. But if you pay attention to somebody's face, their eyes, you know, then you can connect more. And this girl that you said you were talking to, you know, like, she's not really your type, but it was a great conversation, right?
No.
Oh, there was another.
The girl from Plenty of Fish, that I looked at her profile and went, nah. She's the one that said, am I not your type?
Thank you for your message. I had a look. Okay, but my question to you is, why did you look at her? There was something that made you click.
I think I'm trying to remember now. It was last week or the week before. I think I saw a photo of her. Okay, I think she had a really good figure and long blonde hair, so that caught my attention. And the layout of the app is pretty shithouse for Plenty of Fish. So you've got to click on the button to have a look, and maybe they designed that on purpose. So then there's a trigger. We know you looked at our picture because you clicked on it. But when I looked at her closely, I went, okay, she's not the kind of pretty that I like. Like, she had a great figure, she had long blonde hair, but she wasn't the kind of pretty that I like.
Yeah. I'll just go back and say, no, not my type.
And if they go, what do you mean by that? Say, oh, good question.
People say sometimes you just feel things. I can't respond to you. I just felt it's not personal.
Mm.
You're an attractive lady. You've got beautiful hair and a lovely figure and all of that. But it's just, yeah. And I don't really think if it makes you uncomfortable, you don't need to respond.
Yeah, I don't think I did actually. I'm just thinking now, fuck, did I leave her hanging? I'm not sure.
Yeah, but this is the thing. So this is the thing, right? What happens in relationships too. There's things that make us uncomfortable and then we go, oh, you should be secure in yourself to just say, I respond or I don't. That's it.
Mm.
What they do with that, that's their business, not yours. You know, and that I think a lot of people struggle with that through this online.
I did respond. I wrote back and said, hey, yes, I'm very new to this, so I'm just feeling my way around the app. That's what I said. And she said, oh, well, you're doing pretty well. You managed to respond with an emoji. And I didn't get back to her after that.
Yeah, that's actually a fantastic response.
Mm.
Were you lying? No, really, you are new.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but some people say how long you've been on this.
Yes, I've had that. I've had those questions a few times.
Tell you what, if you got somebody who's been on it for 3 years, you kind of go. I actually met the very first date that I went on. He had the most gorgeous blue eyes. I just remembered him, and he was rather cute, and but he kept talking. We met, but he kept talking over me. And I would say something, so our minds were clashing. So the first time, I can say I'm guilty the first time, because I went in there, well, I can have a conversation with anyone. But we had a really good time, but at the end it turned into, it became a bit emotional for me. I mean, this was the very first one, so this was a year or so ago. Mm-hmm. And then I was talking about dancing, and I asked him, I said, do you dance? And he goes, no, I hate it. And I thought, well, that's interesting. I said, because in my profile I wrote down that, you know, it's how important dancing is to me. And then he said, so is that a deal breaker for you? And I go, good question. I said, I think so. Something that I'm yearning for is to have a partner to dance with. Now, if he would have said, well, you know, I'm embarrassed to dance, I don't know how to dance, but if you teach me, I would give it a go, I would have gone, okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say to Shirley, because I reckon it would be a deal breaker with her. Because she's very, very confident, very, very good dancer, and she always gets people coming up and talking to her when she's dancing. But I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? I'm like Nico. I'll stand on the side and you guys dance. But that's not attractive for women. They're like they much prefer the guys that get into the groove with them.
Well, then you got to ask yourself the question: why don't you do that? Because if you really like someone, you would climb mountains for them, right? So the thing is, like Chris, like when I met Chris, he knew I was a dancer. So he told one of my close friends, who's just so happened to be a mutual friend, to teach him how to dance, because he knows how dancing is important to me. He never followed through. And he actually told me that. And over the years, I said, you know, Chris, you told Jamie to teach you how to dance. Why didn't you follow through? I don't know. I said, well, you know how important it is to me. And when I dance with you, you're always embarrassed. And you breathe heavily. It's almost like he's panicking, right? And I just, and he could possibly dance, right? And I go, somebody who's into somebody, like really, and you go, this is the person for me, you would do whatever. You would overcome yourself, because the joy that you're bringing to this other person, outweighs your embarrassment or whatever, right? So you got to question, what is your intent with her? So you're hanging, you know, you've been, over the years that you've been with her, you've been wanting her to make you feel important. Do you make her feel important?
Probably not important enough.
Possibly. So then you got to get clear on what is it exactly that you want from her. So if she pulls away, it's like, okay, you know, she'll be back, right? But depending what you want to offer her, because that's the reason why she's protective, and because she knows that she could fall heavily for you, because you guys get on really well and sex is really great. But when you start giving, a woman's like a flower. You water her, she blooms, because it's not about you. So, but the same goes for women. What is it that you need? So she's not doing the step, you're not doing the step. So clearly you guys are not really into each other that much.
There's enough there to be hanging around the same, to be in the same. You know, like we keep coming back and kind of orbiting, but it's just it's fun, it's romance, it's sexy, it's dangerous, all those things that kind of feed our ego a little bit and tick some boxes.
Yeah, but it's not out there. It's not free.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you wouldn't be caught with her holding hands in a city in case somebody sees you and tells Karina.
Yeah, but see, I've done that with her before. I was passioning her in the middle of the city on a Saturday night. Didn't give a fuck.
When?
This was November 2018.
Okay. When did you split up?
Well, I think I was already living in the spare room by then. I moved out. Yeah, we definitely started the separation process because I was living in a separate room.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so let's just get back to what we're doing.
Yes, we've got 5 minutes, baby.
Yeah, so yeah, you have 5 minutes too.
Yep.
Okay, so all right, so I think for next time, so I need to put a day on a side or a couple of hours to go through the Otter and pull out just the content stuff. The funny, just pull out the content stuff, and so then the next time we meet, then we need to start creating the program. So I'll talk to Mindy tonight about the Katra and see what she recommends. And yeah.
May 27 is the launch date. That's the start marketing it date. So that's 2 weeks. The thing is, if you look at the timeline, June 3, 4, and 5 is rehearsals. Now, you said you're busy with your other program till June 6. So do we need to push this out by a week? You can't be rehearsing 2 programs at once.
Yeah, no, I can't. No. Well, I can, because I'm only rehearsing once with her.
You tell me.
But I think just to take the pressure off a little. The important stuff is to create it. The first thing is to create it, and then to market it. Now, do you know how to create the funnel?
I've done one before. I haven't used funnel software, but I've got Sam Oven's process for doing it.
So what do you use there? What program do you use?
Well, you have a landing page on your website or someone's website. The landing page is very specific in what it does. And people then, there's a subscribe page on it to register. So, enter your email address to register for the webinar here, and then you send them a confirmation email. So I know how to set all that up.
Okay. because I was just thinking, for you, would you be interested to dabble in Kartra?
Well, I don't know. I'm always interested to learn new things.
Because Kartra normally has, it offers like I think a month free for you to look at it. Because I was just thinking whether you have a look at Kartra and see if you understand it.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can use my Kartra, because it's paid for, to create the landing page and all that. The process. I mean, I can show you quickly if you want to see it.
I'll just Google it and I'll find some videos. I mean, Kartra is a software to capture people and get them to take action. So Kartra will be doing that themselves if I look them up online. So let me.
So maybe write that down for you to do, and
research Kartra.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So
do you want to? What do you want to do about this launch date? Leave it as it is for now. 2 weeks from yesterday, we would do the marketing. That means before then, we sit down and we do a quick, hey, are you sick of swiping left? We've got a webinar coming up in this webinar. Here's what you're going to learn. Click the link below.
Well, look, we've got next week to work out the content, and address the marketing again. Setting that up, it wouldn't be that hard, right? That's just knowing where to navigate and how to do there is a what do you call it? There's a sequence, right? To working out the sequence in Kartra, you create a sequence, which is something that I still need to learn. I've already got a sequence, so I can just reuse the same sequence. So it's the invite, they click, they register, they get the thank you, then the following day they get another email, and the day after that they get an email that gives them a piece of content, something. Click here to watch this, or click to read this article. So there's something you give them, and then the day before the event there is a reminder, and then on the day there's a reminder. So in the reminder, you let them know, have your journal, make sure that you download Zoom, so they're ready.
Yep.
Right?
We can do all that.
Yeah, so that's how mine works. Yeah, so I think now what is important is to create the content, so we know exactly what we're delivering in 1 hour.
Cool. We'll do that next week. Time.
Okay, so when do you want to meet next?
Do you want to go Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday, the 20th.
Yep.
Okay. Can we do morning? Like early morning, because I
Yes, of course. What time suits you?
Better. So 8:30 or 9?
Pick one. Yep.
Well, you tell me. I don't know what's going on in your diary, so
My diary's free from 7 until 11. So what if we go 8:30 my time till 9:30?
That's 8:30 my time or yours?
8:30 my time.
So that's 9 o'clock mine.
Yep.
Okay. then online. That's 9 o'clock for 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Cool.
I would just say, give yourself a little bit of a buffer there, because if we're in the middle of creating, you don't want to stop going, the hour's up.
Yes, I understand.
Right? So I'm going to put an extra half an hour in there.
Yep.
But I do like the fact that we're keeping to the time frame. But when you start creating, based on what I did with Hannah, sometimes you go over. Because if you're in create mode, you're in create.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
Love your work, love.
Love your work too, love. All right, cool. Okay, high five. This is really awesome. We are definitely helping peoples here.
While we were talking, I've taken a couple of screen grabs of us, which I might use in marketing just to keep us top of mind.
Did you take a photo of you, my mouth open again?
Yeah, and you're going like this.
I tell you, next time I have a cock in my mouth, it's gonna be weird.
Right, we'll take a photo and send it to me.
Of course. So you're taking a photo next time in you between somebody's legs, right? Going.
Yes, of course.
I do.
My favourite thing in the whole world. Believe me, I'll record it for you. Right, love.
Do you actually like doing that? Do you?
Oh man, it's amazing.
Really?
Yes.
That's why most men don't like doing it for some reason.
How do you know most men?
Well, sorry, the men that I heard from. Sorry.
Be careful.
Well, most men that I was seeing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I've heard from other guys. There's not many guys that say, "Oh yeah," they just go, "Oh yeah."
Oh well, I gotta go, babe. I gotta go.
Tiring. All right, catch you later. Bye. Bye.